knowing what's trending is not enough, because you can buy the newest trend and still make it look dated. So today we are talking about 7 fall 2026 trends, how not to wear them, what I'd ditch and what I'd actually invest in.
Be good, stay good.
So let's start with the first trend I'll be very happy to embrace as soon as those first cool days kick in. The Heritage Knitwear. And here, the biggest difference between dated and modern is the fit. Avoid very fitted versions. Heritage knits traditionally have some ease, and once you make them body-hugging, they can start to feel like a retro interpretation rather than an authentic heritage piece. And these are examples of a modern heritage knit fit on different body sizes. Second, be careful with the very bright, almost neon color combinations. I'm not saying they're dated or bad, but they're much harder to style in an easy, wearable, casual way. Super vivid colors can also push heritage knitwear into more of a novelty direction. Heritage sweaters come from a much more natural visual world. Think wool, all the earthy tones, navy and earthy reds. These softer, nature-inspired palettes make the pattern feel richer, more authentic, and much easier to wear. How I suggest styling it: the styling principle is contrast. Wear the heritage knit with something that feels cleaner, sharper, or more modern. First, the easiest option, denim. Jeans immediately relax the traditional feel of heritage knitwear and keep it from looking too literal. Second, tailored pants. And this is probably my favorite way to style heritage knitwear because the contrast is so good. The sweater brings softness, pattern, and that slightly nostalgic feeling, while tailored pants make the whole outfit look sharper and much more current. And if you want to push it even further, try leather pants or a leather skirt. That slightly tougher texture completely changes the mood of a traditional knit and makes it feel much more modern. Next, let's move on from knitwear to another detail that's going to be everywhere this fall: the funnel neck, especially on jackets. This is one of those trends that can look incredibly modern or instantly dated depending on the cut. The neckline itself is not new at all, so the real difference is in the shape, proportion, and construction. Be careful with more sporty versions of the funnel neck jacket, relatively short, quite fitted in the neck area, and often with a very visible zipper running straight down the front. This tight shape paired with exposed zip that can make the jacket read more like practical sportswear or an old utility jacket than modern outerwear. The modern funnel neck jacket has much more presence. Look for a relaxed, boxy, or slightly cocoon-shaped jackets with some room around the body and collar that feels architectural rather than simply functional. And I especially like versions with the hidden closures, snaps, buttons, or an off-center closure because the front stays much cleaner. And instead of a very short fitted length, look for wider shape and maybe like something longer. The funnel neck should be balanced with the overall proportions of the jacket. Next, texture. Fall 2026 is bringing back velvet and corduroy in a big way, but this is a trend that can look expensive or very cheap depending on the fabric and the cut. Velvet is one of the biggest texture stories, but this is where I'd be careful. When velvet is very thin, stretchy, and soft, it tends to collapse on the body instead of holding a beautiful shape. And because the surface already catches the light, ruching, gathering, draping, and lots of little folds can make it look even busier and sometimes a little floppy. The fabric is already doing a lot visually, so it usually doesn't need extra manipulation. What I'd look for instead is velvet or corduroy with a little more substance and a much more cleaner cut. Think simple pants and a blazer. The whole point is to let the texture become the interesting part of the outfit. And if you don't love complicated layering, this is actually perfect. Just swap your favorite jeans for corduroy pants, keep everything else simple, and suddenly the outfit has much more depth. It's chic and trendy, yet very wearable and casual. And now shoes. Fall 2026 is not asking us to abandon comfortable footwear. No way, I'm gonna ditch my comfy flats. But there's a noticeable shift towards cleaner, sharper, and more refined shoes. This is one category where I think we can actually say something is starting to look dated. Exaggerated lug soles, oversized rounded toes, and lots of hardware were a huge trend a few years ago, but now the direction is much cleaner and more refined. Your go-to shoe for fall 2026 looks slimmer, sleeker, with a thinner sole and more elegant toe shape. A very clean minimalist silhouette, whether it's a flat shoe or a heel. And just to be clear, this doesn't mean every heavier shoe is suddenly out. You can absolutely still wear wedges, especially the slimmer, more elegant ones. They look incredibly chic. And 70s inspired block heel or platform wedge are still around too, just with much less dominance than a few years ago. So if you love them, keep wearing them. But if you're thinking about where to invest for the next few years, I'd put my money into sleek minimalist shoes. That direction feels much broader, easier to style, and more likely to stay relevant. And finally, brooches. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I've been talking about them for more than maybe 3 years. Well, now it's official. Brooches were all over the fall 2026 runways. Start with the most classic option. Wear a brooch on a blazer, jacket, or coat. It's probably the easiest way to bring one into your wardrobe without changing anything else. You can also make it functional. Use a brooch instead of a button to close or reshape a jacket, especially when you want to change the shape of the garment, sleeves, back, waistline. Just experiment a little and find your favorite way. And my favorite trick is using one to secure the sleeves of a sweater when you drape it over your shoulders. It keeps everything in place, but also turns a very simple styling trick into an actual detail. And if you want to push it even further, stack several brooches together. Mix sizes, shapes, metals, vintage pieces. There really doesn't have to be one perfect matching set. And for this trend, vintage and pre-loved shopping is a must, because brooches are exactly the kind of accessories where older pieces often have more character than anything you'll find new. And for color, I'm talking Chartreuse. I mean, let's be honest, there are plenty of so-called trending colors, and I don't necessarily believe that any one color can dominate an entire season. But if you ask me which color I'm personally going to inject into my fall wardrobe, it would definitely be Chartreuse. It's one of the more unexpected shades for fall 2026, but surprisingly, it works beautifully with a very classic fall wardrobe. The easiest way to wear it is with grounded colors like chocolate brown, navy, gray, burgundy, olive. Those deeper shades calm it down and make Chartreuse feel much more sophisticated. I'm not going much deeper into color here because fall 2026 deserves a separate color video. I'll show you the strongest shades of the season, the best color combinations, and which ones are actually worth adding to your wardrobe. Now, prints and patterns, and if I had to choose one print for fall 2026, I'd skip the obvious leopard or really any animal print. I mean, they're still trending and I'm definitely planning to wear them a lot, but here we want something that feels a little fresher, a little less obvious, and not yet completely replicated everywhere. So my pick would be winter florals. Think darker backgrounds, richer colors, slightly moodier flowers, florals that actually belong in a fall winter wardrobe rather than looking like you forgot to pack away your summer dress. I love these florals so much. There's so much drama going on here and they feel so unique and fresh for fall styling. I'm definitely trying this one. And the second print I suggest trying this fall is quiet checks. And I mean checks with low contrast, small to medium scale, and muted fall colors like brown, cream, olive. Where I'd be careful with checks and plaid patterns is When the print and the styling are both too traditional, a classic fitted blazer with a pleated skirt, riding boots, and all the heritage details at once can start to feel a little too literal. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these looks. It really depends on the context and the effect you want to create. Because at the end of the day, trends are just tools. You don't need to follow all of them, and you definitely don't need to replace your wardrobe every new season. The real skill is knowing which ones speak to you, how to make them work with what you already own, and when to simply let a trend pass. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. All the links are down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, I suggest watching this video. 7 pieces that take you from August to September. So this video is about transitional wardrobe, and I think that was like a very interesting concept. 1 piece, 3 different outfits, starting from boiling hot weather in August and ending up to really cool days in the end of September. I bet you would love this one. Click, see you there.